like the privacy
Are you
thing or
getting
whatever.
ready to go?
Yeah, it's 8:59. Do you need to talk with her?
No,
You
no,
don't?
no. She and I can do it by eye contact.
Okay.
Yeah.
One minute.
Call to order the Wednesday, May 8th, 2019 regular meeting of the Board of School Trustees. If you'd please stand and join the board in the pledge, which is going to be led tonight by MHS student Brandy Venable. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item 1.03, adoption of the agenda. It is recommended that the agenda for the May 8, 2019 regular meeting of the Board of School Trustees be adopted as presented.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? If there's none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Item 2.01, Mishawaka High School presentations. Mr. Calderon?
Thank you, President Curry, Superintendent Spiker, and school board members, and all guests this evening. Before we move into our program this evening, I would
members. They lead in our music program, drama program, arts program, cadet teaching program, engineering and robotics program, sports teams, and academic teams. They write for the school newspaper, they serve on the student council, they hold offices in all sorts of clubs. Students on this list have won Scholastic Keys and are wonderful artists. They can fix your car, they can cut your hair. They're Sandy Safe certified, they have black belts in jiu-jitsu. They work in many of the offices at MHS. They're incredible athletes. They are funny, caring, loving, and loved members of our community. And before I call our students up, I want to recognize Courtney Brummett, Brian Balmer, Hannah Curtis, and Lauren Richard for their commitment to these students. These four served as our first early college advisors, and I know that Ms. Brummett is here tonight. Courtney, will you stand? Thank you so much for the hard work. And our early college seniors are very busy people, so many of them couldn't be here tonight, but I want to read all of the students' names. And students, if you are here, please come up when your name is called, receive your certificate, and then congregate by the choir back there, and we'll take a group photo after all the names are called. And then audience, let's hold our applause until the end. Great. So our first student is Mac Allen, Tyler Blackmore, Ethan Bird, Elena Coffey, Tyler Colburn, Haley Conley, Jordan Cotterman, Marcos Crane, Bailey Davis, Logan DeShepper, Madison Edmondson, Izzy Fielding, Megan Fry, Robert Gear, Jared Heitzma, Jennifer Hondras, Jason Hansen, Morgan Hardy, Christopher Harness, Reagan Heatherly, Nicholas Hoppers, Gabby Hoy, Timothy Huff, Kesa Kemp, Benjamin Kensinger, Kimberly Kindley, Richard King, Caitlin Kramer, Justin Kazuski, Alex Lanou, Carly Line, Taylor Matherly, Elizabeth McKesson, Mia McQuain, Sydney Melton, Madison Moretti, Abigail Mueller, Brandon Nelson, Sam Nicodemus, Kira Nolan, Parker Norris, and Skylar Norris, Elizabeth Obrin, Alyssa Phelps, Addie Pickens, Faith Quintana, Lauren Raven, Kiana Rosetto, Alex Scheid, Sam Shively, Zach Springman, Taylor Taft, Kayla Tharp, Joy Thompson, Morgan Van Damme, Max Van Goey, Brandy Venable, Larissa Walker, Caitlin Ward, Emma Watford, and Dylan Williams. I just want to thank all of the students in our first cohort for being daring enough to sign up for our early college experiment. You have performed way better than we expected that you would, and we are so happy to have you as part of our community.
Thank you, Mrs. Mann, and congratulations to all those students. We're going to move on and have Mr. Gamble and Mr. Chamberlain come up, and they're going to have a brief presentation on their spring break trip they took with the band this spring. So come on up. And Mrs. Hess, I'm sorry. Didn't see you there.
Good evening. We are so extremely happy to announce that we pulled off another trip. This was, I've been here for 20 years. This was my sixth trip here, my sixth trip to Disney World with these kids. Every one of them have been successful, but this one has been just absolutely outstanding. We had 150-something on the tour with us, 3 full coaches. We ended up having a number of people who came down and joined us as well. And we've got a lot of cool things to show you from this. So why don't we go ahead with those?
Where am I pointing this?
Okay. The trip down. Imagine 3 coaches full of excited teenagers and thrilled chaperones.
That's about it.
That was about it, yes. We spent a day at Universal Studios in Orlando. You can see the Harry Potter world in the background. Yay. And, of course, you have to have more Harry Potter. That was the highlight. The next day, we went to Epcot Center and spent a great deal of time there. The Epcot experience was the day that I feel was the most educationally rewarding that we did. We took the kids to a program called Your Instrumental, wherein they would go into recording studios in the...
All right, one in order. You're fine. Keep going.
I'm fine, sorry. We went to recording studios where the kids were met with a Disney clinician and went through a whole big thing about how to be a professional musician, how to carry on, how to be more efficient in their practicing, how to be more efficient in all of their work. Go for it.
Sorry. We performed outside or inside Disney Springs, which is formerly known as Downtown Disney. And this is the open to public. So we had a lot of people there that are just there. This is the place that people go and they don't have an agenda. So they're just shopping and they can sit for a little bit and listen. 5 years ago when we went, 4 years ago, we performed inside Epcot, and it was kind of more obscure because people have an agenda there. They want to go ride rides. So this was neat to get to experience different people. Came up to us afterward and talked about how they enjoyed our performance. So it was neat for the kids to experience, and it was just an all-around beautiful performance venue.
And enjoy the rest of your day here at Disney Springs.
They played longer than that. That was just a sample. And then the next one would be I went out of order. Sorry. That's yours.
So the same day we also had a clinic, the Your Instrumental. Our conductor for that was Brian Hellhake. He's a orchestra director down in Orlando, and he did a lot of work with the kids and just kind of brought some confidence out in them, and it was really neat to see them kind of blossom throughout. And they're starting out and they're really super nervous, and they record them the first time and they're like, that wasn't us, was it? Like, that was really bad. And then by the end we have this video that they put together.
And then also on Wednesday, there was a lot going on that day. We were in and out of the parks, and the buses go in different directions, and we got everybody to the right spot. This is Dave on the left here. This is the band instrumental clinic. And we did the similar process where they put you in the recording studio, and we record. They record us unannounced, and then they say, all right, we're recording. They get the kids thinking a lot. And then this was our video for the first part. We played to a piece from Lion King called Stampede. And then at the end, they had our music with the piece from Jungle Book, right? Jungle Book, and Dave is soloing trumpet over the top. Kids had a blast with that. And one more, our Thursday, we're getting close to leaving here. Thursday, we were, marching band went backstage. This was our performance time. Some members of the dance team, we had some twirlers, all kinds of people, and we marched down Main Street for thousands and thousands of people. So here's a clip of that. Mr. Brown took a good video for us. And then the last day we went to Animal Kingdom, and I think is that the end of it? Oh, and then at the end of we went to Animal Kingdom for a bit, and then went to Hollywood Studios in the evening, and I got a bunch of hats on my head while we were waiting for the fireworks to start. And then I think, oh yeah, this is my favorite part. Our tour guides, Ryan and Emma, we had a tour company called Educational Tours Incorporated, does a lot of the detail work for us. They had nothing but good things to say about the behavior of our students, and very proud of the way they represented our band, orchestra, and School City of Mishawaka, and the city of Mishawaka while we were there. So we had a really good time, brought everybody back that we wanted to, and hope to do it again in a few more years.
I would like to acknowledge a couple of people before we go. Jessica Mann, please stand. Jessica came along with us as a chaperone. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Carrie Hartley, our Band Booster president, and students down there who were on the trip, step forward. Was it fun? Very, very cool. Disney is very, very tight-lipped about how many people are actually in their parks on a daily basis. And so I said, well, will 10,000 people see this parade? And the woman kind of looked around to make sure nobody was looking. More like 20, 25,000 people saw that parade. Only 1/3 of every band who applies to do this gets accepted to do it. We're very proud of Mishawaka kids. Thank you very much.
Thank you. In our last group tonight, I'm going to have Mr. Brown come up. He wants to talk a little bit about some of the accomplishments our Maroon Jazz group has had this year. So before they play or perform their 2 music pieces, Mr. Brown would like to say a few words.
Good evening. First of all, I just want to thank everyone, community, administration, staff, all of. This is my first year at Mishawaka as the choral director, and I can honestly look everyone in the eyes and say it's been a great year. It really has been. The students and I have had a lot of fun. We were just warming up in the choir room, having a blast. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for the support across the board from the administration. I have worked in other school districts before, and we do have some special people here supporting the arts, and it means a lot to people like me and, of course, our students. I just want to mention a couple of things. One, we had some great accomplishments this year. One, we had 21 students attend the solo and ensemble performance hosted by ISMA. We had 16 of those students receive gold medal, the highest rating, and 5 of them received silver. It's an incredible accomplishment. And special thanks to Carrie Hartley, our voice teacher here, who helped prepare all those students and led that to be a great success. So thank you. And secondly, for the very first time, Maroon Jazz just competed in ISMA organizational contest. They had done the jazz one before, but we went to organizational this time, which required sight singing, which they had never done before. And it was an incredible challenge. Imagine being handed a piece of music that you've never seen before in your life, and you have 2 minutes to look it over, and then you have to sing it perfectly. And 16 bars of music in 4-part harmony, very difficult. Our students persevered, and we came away also with a gold medal rating in Division II. So, thank you. But the best part is the music itself, so we wanted to share 2 songs for you. The first is Festival Sanctus by John Levitt, and the second is Blue Skies, a jazz arrangement.
Sanctus,
Brown and students, great job. And just in closing, this is a busy time in the school year for us here at the high school. School board meeting tonight, obviously. Tomorrow we have National Art Honor Society. Friday night we have Mayfest. Next Wednesday, I believe, we have our senior scholarship night where we give our scholarships through the MHS Foundation. And then, of course, I'll be moving towards graduation on, I believe, June 9th, if I'm correct. Am I right saying that, June 9th? So we're moving there, and a lot of good things happening, and days seem to fly by quicker now than January and February. And so we're expecting another magnificent graduating class. We expect to be over 90% again. There's some kids right now we're chasing, and some more than one of us, but you know, we'll get them there. We'll get them across that finish line and give them opportunities to move forward to the next stage of their life. So thanks for your attention tonight, and we hope you enjoyed the program.
Well, thank you. It's good to hear about all the wonderful things happening here, and I think that's especially appropriate that the arts were such an important part of tonight's program, because later tonight we're going to be taking action on some items that are even going to further support the arts here throughout the school district, so thank you. We'll move on to item 2.03, recognition of John Young National History Day state winners and alternates. Mr. Fisher, Mr. Zabresny, and Mr. Miller.
Good evening, Dr. Spiker, President Curry, and members of the board. I want to congratulate Mr. Cadroni and Mishawaka High School on a fantastic performance. That's a tough act to follow, and I'm nervous I'm next, so that was awesome. I'm happy our middle school students, many of them are out here today, got to watch that, so look what you guys got to look forward to in the future. Fantastic stuff. Today, like normal, we want to brag about our History Day. For those of you that don't know, it's a proud tradition here at John Young Middle School that our History Day competes, and I like to brag that we dominate our state competition, and it continued again this year. I am not going to steal Mr. Miller and Mr. Zabresny's thunder, but I do want to take this opportunity to recognize Mr. Zabresny and Mr. Miller for all their work in preparing our kids for the History Day competition. So in a brief second here, Mr. Zabresny is going to introduce our students and recognize them. Just so you know, we do have certificates, but those will be passed out on our Honors and Awards Day, which takes place here at Mishawaka in the auditorium, I believe on May 29th. So you will get a certificate for being a History Day finalist, but just not tonight. I just want to make sure you guys understand that. But we do want to recognize you in front of the board. Before I turn this over to Mr. Zabresny, I do want to mention that he is our Indiana National History Day Junior Teacher of the Year. So. We're very proud of Mr. Zabresny, and he will be one of the, he'll go up for the National Teacher of the Year when he goes to Washington, D.C. This summer, in a few weeks, so congratulations to him. So at this time, Mr. Zabresny.
So National History Day here in Indiana promotes hands-on learning with students as they select a topic related to a theme on history, and they create a project as an individual or working with a group. Students can choose to do a paper, a documentary, an exhibit, a website, or even a performance as they create unique expressions of history. This year, John Young had more than 100 students complete History Day projects on this year's theme, which was Triumph and Tragedy. Over 50 of those students competed at the regional contest at St. Mary's in February, where we had 28 students qualify for the state contest. It was held in April in Indy. These students again had to rework their projects and dive further into their research. At the state contest, John Young was able to qualify 7 students, which was 2 group projects for the national contest as part of the Indiana delegation. We'd like to recognize all the students that competed at the state contest at this time. Those that placed first or second at the state contest are qualified for nationals and will be headed to the University of Maryland in June to compete.
And those students are Abdullah Adil, state qualifier, Michael Belting, state finalist, junior individual documentary. Sarah Burns, first place, junior group documentary. Elizabeth Childress, state qualifier, junior group doc exhibit. Davin Cockey, state qualifier, junior individual website. Kyle Crooks, state qualifier, junior individual exhibit. Cole Darnell, state qualifier, junior individual website. Torrin Day, state qualifier, junior group website. Lincoln Deneve, state qualifier, junior group exhibit. Anna DeVries, first place, junior group documentary. Bren Dickerson, state qualifier, junior individual exhibit. Brady Fisher, state qualifier, junior group website. Abriella Flick, first place, junior group documentary. Cassandra Gamboa, second place, junior group exhibit. Peyton Kruger, state qualifier, junior group documentary. Dylan Miller, state qualifier, junior group documentary. Emma Parsons, state qualifier, junior individual exhibit. Carmen Ramirez, state qualifier, junior group exhibit. John Rogers, second place, junior group exhibit. Will Shalio, state qualifier, junior group exhibit. Emily Seepix, state qualifier, junior individual documentary. Jack Troyer, state qualifier, junior group website. Ava Van Damme, second place, junior group exhibit. Thomas Ventura, state finalist, junior individual documentary. Lauren Walker, state qualifier, junior individual website. Elena Webster, state qualifier, junior individual exhibit. And Alden Zolman, state qualifier, junior group documentary. Congratulations.
Well, congratulations to the staff for sustaining such a powerful program for so many years. It seems you just reload every year. And also to all of you students, I've followed this program for quite a few years, and I know that it takes a tremendous amount of work and dedication, and you're all to be very much commended for what you've done. That ends the recognition section of the board agenda. We're going to be moving in.
Wait, I got one.
We have one more?
Jessica.
All right.
202.
Did I miss one?
Yeah.
All right.
We missed
I
one.
was asleep at the switch too.
2.01, 2.
Okay.
Oh, yes, down at the bottom, right where I didn't see it, in bold letters. Okay, we will. 2.02, Early College Student of the Month. Mrs. Mann, we don't want to miss that.
So school board, tonight I have our final early college student of the month for the 2018-19 school year, and it's Logan DeShepper. So Logan, will you please come forward? So Logan has been practicing his presentation skills all year long. He has been presenting at science fairs all over the country. So tonight, instead of me saying nice things about Logan, Logan is going to present on his research to you tonight.
Yeah, so I'm Logan DeShepper, and she's right, I have been traveling far and wide to go present my research. Oh, I have a clicker, that's perfect. So I just want to begin really fast by introducing the teachers who have been really influential throughout this entire project for this past year and a half now. So Mrs. Mann, of course, for helping me and spending hours registering me for all these different competitions. Ms. Brummett and Mrs. Stantz, who were the ones who encouraged me to go out and actually connect with the professor I worked with for the past year. And Mr. Caldroni for helping me get organized for the events and actually getting me there. And of course, all the other Mishawaka High School staff who have helped me and supported me throughout my entire journey. Okay, so for the past year or so, I was working as a student researcher at St. Mary's College. And what I did was I looked at bat echolocation calls. And I was really interested in whether or not echolocation calls had other functions. So echolocation is how bats navigate and orient themselves in space. So it's how they see their environments in poor visibility conditions. But since they are really social creatures by nature, I was interested in whether or not, in addition to navigating, whether or not they actually used it to communicate amongst themselves. And what I found was that it did indeed possibly have other functions. And in addition, I found out that we could, no, I don't want that. Okay. And in addition, there were roost-specific properties, so differences in frequencies were indicating that they had accents, if you will. But also in addition, they had individualistic specific properties as well, or voices. And this is really important because it allows ecologists and other people working on bat conservation to track populations in non-invasive manners, specifically through how they're echolocating. And this is really important because it enables us to avoid the spread of a fungal disease that has decimated bat populations for the past several decades. There we go. And so after finding my findings and preparing presentations, I did get the opportunity to go all the way across the country and across state to present my research. So just listed here next to all the awkward photos of me presenting are different competitions I was at. So I placed first in Northern Indiana Science and Engineering Fair. Not first in the Hoosier Fair, but I came close. First place in the Indiana Junior Science and Humanities Symposium. And I was part of the Indiana delegation for the National Junior Science and Humanities Symposium, the first in our school's history. And in addition, I got the opportunity to present in front of a bunch of other researchers and professionals looking at bat populations specifically at the Midwest Bat Working Group Conference in Chicago. And so just selfless plug here, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics organization, there's a projected 18.7% STEM job growth rate. And that's 24% higher than the average growth rate for all U.S. job positions. And so it's vital that not only are we encouraging students at the high school level to pursue STEM careers, but it's also important that we have faculty members who aren't specialists who are also encouraging students to go out and find their passions. Please work. Yeah, so thank you.
Well, thank you, and I'm so glad we didn't miss that. That was impressive. And thank you for the plug of STEM. All right, I believe that actually does conclude the recognition portion of the agenda. So we're about to move into the business portion. So if there's parents or families who are here just for the recognition section, we'll take a few moments to pause to allow you to leave if you choose to do so. Section 3 of the agenda, comments and questions from the floor. Item 3.01, representations of the PTA. Is there anyone from the PTA who wishes to address the board? Item 3.02, representatives of school employees. All right. Item 3.03, representatives of the Mishawaka Education Foundation. Ms. Wright.
I haven't been here for a while, so probably an hour is good.
40 minutes.
Welcome, everybody, and I have to applaud these children and staff. My gosh, amazing. I really came tonight representing the foundation to thank all of you, especially this wonderful school board, the wonderful staff, and all the students. The partnership that the foundation has is happening because of all of you. And the things we're able to do, such as academic competition funding, which I think you saw tonight, because of a wonderful golf outing that Shar Spiker and Dr. Spiker put together, is achieving things that we see with our kids. And we appreciate every time you speak our name, and we speak yours in the same vein. And we are going to accomplish things greater as we move through the next few years. Anyway, tonight I'm just going to put in the plug. By now, probably most of you have gotten an invitation to the annual luncheon. Our annual luncheon is June 12th, and we celebrate what has happened in the school year. We really celebrate our classroom grant recipients, our artists that have done the covers of our programs and our invitations. We also celebrate some of the great achievements. We'll be talking about the greenhouse that's coming by Battelle, and we're very excited to just celebrate because we have a wonderful opportunity here in this school system. And thank you, and if you need 20 more invitations, they'll be up here.
Item 3.04, general public. I don't believe anyone has signed up this evening. All right, and moving into the consent agenda section. Item 4.01, approval of the minutes of the April 24, 2019 regular meeting of the Board of School Trustees. It is recommended that the minutes of the April 24, 2019 regular meeting of the board be approved as presented.
Move for approval.
No. Wait. Item 4.02, approval of bill warrants and payroll. It is recommended that the bill warrants and payroll in the amount of $3,649,454.57 be approved for payment from the appropriate funds. Item 4.03, approval of field trip requests. It is recommended that the Board of School Trustees approve the field trip requests as listed and documented. Item 4.04, approval of fundraiser requests. It is recommended that the Board of School Trustees approve the fundraisers as listed and documented. And item 4.05, approval of the consent agenda. It is recommended that the Board of School Trustees approve the consent agenda as presented.
Move for approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 5.01, personnel report.
Bill, let's introduce.
Mr. Welling?
It's recommended that the board approve the personnel report as submitted.
Move for approval. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the report as submitted. Is there any discussion on the motion? If none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 5.02, recommendation to approve a revised fine arts leadership structure, K through 12. Dr. Spiker.
The original fine arts leadership structure, K through 12, was approved by the Board of School Trustees on June 9th, 2018. The revised fine arts leadership structure changes reporting relationships for the fine arts coordinator and changes the 4 section positions from chairs to leaders: visual arts, music, drama, and dance. The board has a copy of the proposed structure. I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have about the fine arts leadership structure.
Are there any questions? If not, is there a motion?
Move for approval. Second.
It's been moved and approved. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item 5.03, recommendation to approve School City of Mishawaka Coordinator of Fine Arts position description. Dr. Spiker?
The school board approved the P project focused on creating a vision and strategic plan for improving the quantity and quality of student experiences with SCM academic competition, athletics, and fine arts K-12. One key ingredient of each work group was to identify a leadership structure which included a key leader position, the coordinator of fine arts. Attached is the position description. It is anticipated that the position will be advertised starting tomorrow and hopefully will be filled to start July 1 of 2019. The fiscal impact of this particular position is approximately $130,000.
Move for approval. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Before we vote, I do want to make a comment on this. I was part of the Fine Arts P project work group for the fine arts, and we were divided up into a variety of areas of theater, music, visual arts, dance, and we broke up into subgroups in the work groups. And one of the common themes from all of these work groups is we needed to have a position coordinator like this. And I think after you saw the program this evening, everybody can recognize how important the arts are and how inspirational they are and how important they are to the community. So I think this is a major step forward. Are there any other comments on this from any of the? All right, in that case, it's been moved and seconded to approve the position description for advertising. Is there any discussion on the motion? Not? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Business and operations, item 7.01, acceptance of donations. Dr. Spiker?
$248.10 from Box Tops for Education to the Student Activity Fund at Liberty Elementary School, $453.70 from Box Tops for Education to the Student Activity Fund at Twin Branch Elementary, $150 classroom grant from AIAA Foundation to Shelley Sparrow at Twin Branch Elementary School, miscellaneous gardening tools, water pitchers, and gloves valued at $100 from Dale Brenneman at Ace Hardware to the Nature Club at Holmes Elementary School, 20 native plants in a wheelbarrow valued at $200 from Ralph Bean at McKinley Garden Center to the Nature Clubs at Holmes Elementary School. We recommend that you accept these donations from these generous donors.
Move for approval. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the donations with appreciation to the donors. Is there any discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item 7.02, acceptance of donations from Computers for Learning Program, the CFL. Mr. Mabee.
Good evening. With the guidance and advice and counsel of Resident David Strong, School City of Mishawaka's Technology Department registered with the United States General Services Administration for the Computers for Learning program. Their mission is to distribute educationally useful federal equipment to nonprofit organizations like fire, police departments, and schools. The Technology Department has requested and once again won this set of 94 19-inch computer monitors with estimated approximate value of $8,500, and only cost us $563 of shipping and a little bit of time. Now, the neat thing about how we're going to use them is, as several of our labs age, we just need to get a few more years as the one-on-one schedule comes into place. So we'll be using previously accepted the desktop cub books in conjunction with these monitors to extend the life of 3 more physical room labs. These labs were originally purchased between 2009 and 2011. So I would recommended the school board trustees accept the technology equipment as described.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the technology equipment. Is all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And once again, I think we need to express our appreciation to Mr. Strawn for putting us on to this wonderful resource. Item 7.03, recommendation to approve Luma as vendor for classroom typical installation. Mr. Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. Curry, board members. I do want to put an asterisk on Mr. Caldroni's presentation tonight. If you cannot make the events like commencement in June, or the NIC championships, or Mayfest coming up, those are all live streamed courtesy of the Caveman Network, so you can catch those on YouTube. The Common School loan was approved in September of 2018 to fund the equipment purchase for approximately 120 classroom typical installations at Mishawaka High School, John Young Middle School, and the District 7 elementary buildings. This equipment purchases and installation will allow our teachers to have a consistent setup throughout buildings, will ease our serviceability from a technology standpoint, and it'll increase familiarity when moving from room to room. The scope of this work, 120 classrooms, requires professional installation services and needed to be performed within specific dates for a very busy summer of 19. We contacted 5 local vendors to perform the work, which includes installation, the validation of the install, parts, labors, uninstalling obsolete CRTs at all of those locations where applicable, and their disposal. We received quotes from ESCO Communications, Focus AV, Blades AV canceled their bid, and there was no response from Technoworks, but the low bid was Luma from South Bend at $29,394. Pending any questions, I would recommend that the school board approve this bid from Luma for work to be completed in the summer of 2019.
Move for approval of Luma as a vendor.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the bid. Is there any discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item 7.04, recommendation to approve application for 2019 Common School Technology loan. Dr. Spiker?
I just want to make a comment why I have so many agenda items. Mike Faulkner and Alex Newman are at the Indiana Association of School Business Officials meeting in Fort Wayne, so I inherited all their agenda items. So I'm happy to do them because they're very deserving of representing us at those professional meetings. The administration is requesting approval to apply for the 2019 Spring Common School Technology Loan. The amount of the request loan is $509,100. Advances from the Common School Fund are determined according to the rank of school corporations that have the least assessed valuation per average daily membership. School City of Mishawaka has one of the lowest assessed valuations per DM in the state and should have no issue receiving these funds. The Common School Fund loans for technology purposes have a 1% interest rate and will be paid back over 5 years. School City of Mishawaka would be eligible to receive $100 per spring ADM or $509,100. The administration would like to apply for the full amount in order to supplement as much of the 2019-20 device plan as possible. And then you can see on the spreadsheet that is on the agenda exactly where these would be done. It would be 1,485 Chromebooks at Mishawaka High School, and it goes right on down and shows what would be the purchases. The current iPads at the high school will then be redistributed within the high school for specialty areas, as well as they will be going into the elementary schools, and they will be going on carts. At the March 13, 2019 board meeting, the Board of School Trustees approved the purchase of 1,700 Chromebooks from Troxel. The unit price of $290.34 includes the device, 3-year protection plan, case, asset tagging, and distribution services, and Google management. While the list includes Chromebooks for only Beeger, Hums, and LaSalle, existing Chromebooks will be distributed to all elementary schools to ensure equity across the school corporation. The additional iPad carts are necessary to store and power the current iPads at Mishawaka High School, which will also be redistributed to the elementary schools. The administration recommends approval of the spring 2019 Common School Technology Loan for the purchase of Chromebooks and iPad carts for the 2019-20 school year.
Move for approval. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the purchase and the application for the Common School Technology Loan. Any discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 7.05, recommendation to approve professional services agreement with Marsh Consultants, Inc. for 2019-2020 carpet replacement project. Dr. Spiker.
The administration is requesting approval of a professional services agreement with Marsh Consultants for the replacement of carpeting and flooring at Twin Branch, Emmons, LaSalle, and Battelle Elementary School. Over the past several months, Director of Operations Mike Faulkner worked with our building administrators to identify the most immediate carpet and flooring needs throughout the school corporation. While other buildings showed needs in certain areas, it became clear that our most immediate need was at Twin Branch, Emmons, LaSalle, and Battelle Elementary Schools. The life expectancy for carpet in an elementary school is approximately 12 years. The carpet in these buildings has greatly exceeded its life expectancy and is in immediate need of replacement. If approved, the administration would like to bring an application for the 2019 Common School Construction Loan back to the Board of School Trustees on May 22, 2019 for approval. The construction loan would be used to pay for the carpet and the floor in replacement project. Similar to technology loans, construction loans are determined according to the rank of school corporations that have least assessed valuation. The Common School construction loans carry a 4.5 interest rate and will be paid back over a maximum of 20 years. The professional services agreement with Marsh Consultants includes preliminary design, bid documents, bid process, construction administration. The cost for Marsh to perform these services is not to exceed $34,500 and would be paid with the proceeds of the spring 2019 Common School construction loan. Work toward this project would begin immediately upon board approval. Construction would then take place over the next 12 to 15 months. I want to add a note that isn't on the board agenda, and you know, the question may come, why are we not considering doing the carpeting at Hums Elementary School, where we have historically had water problems, and we have had carpeting issues there? Well, the answer is that we have money set aside from the $5 million revenue bonds to be able to do that work this summer. So we're going to be doing carpeting work at Hums, as well as replacing some furniture that needs to be replaced in classrooms there. It just doesn't show up on this particular project. So Alex wanted me to be sure to mention that. So the administration recommends approval of the professional services agreement with Avon March Consultants for a cost not to exceed $34,500 for services related to the 2019-20 carpet and flooring replacement project.
Is there a motion?
Move for a motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the recommendation. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Well, with all the water that's been on the carpet, it hums, it's probably clean.
Well, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 7.06, declaration of obsolete property. Mr. Johnson?
Thanks once again, President Curry, members of the board. This agenda item is part of our biannual reporting to the state of obsolete equipment that we write off as the district. We currently own technology equipment that's no longer operable or cost-effective to repair. These items include 174 computers, monitors, televisions, tablets, and I'd like to give a special thank you to Ashley Simpson, who keeps on top of this. She knows where everything is at all times and does a great job of managing our inventory, and we're able to discard a lot of these expensive cost of ownership items due to some acquisitions that you saw before you here tonight. It's our recommendation. There's no recommendation. Yeah, there is. To declare the listed technology as obsolete property per Code 522.22.8.
Move for approval. Second.
It's been moved and approved to approve the declaration of obsolete property. Is there any discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Reports and information items. Item 8.01, progress report on the School City of Mishawaka grade level study report. Dr. Spiker and Mrs. Sickle.
Thank you, Mr. Curry and members of the board. As you know, we presented the original grade level study to the board with a series of recommendations. This is a status report update that Mrs. Sickle and I are doing. So as we go through here, you can see that the first one is the pre-K 5 options and recommendations. You want to take that one?
So for each recommended item, we've tried to give you a progress as far as has that particular objective been achieved, is it in progress, or has it been postponed? And you can see for recommendations 1 and 2, which put in place that we would at this time leave 6th grade in the elementary buildings with a focus on transitions and a vision for the future, which included at some potential time second middle school. The objective has been achieved, and the one part that is in progress is particularly that focus on 5th and 6th grade, in particular for transitions to John Young. One of the things that was put in place post the grade level study was an emphasis at each of the 7 elementary buildings to come up with a plan that suited their buildings, suited their staff and their needs and their students, to help support those students in preparation for a transition to the middle school. Each of the buildings implemented that plan in a unique way that met their particular needs, and then progress monitored that plan throughout this year. We found throughout the year there were some of those plans that were meeting those needs and getting us positive results, and some that were not, and so those were adapted and changed throughout the year. And then recently, building level leaders, along with their staff in 6th grade, particularly some of them in 5th and 6th, have been working on revisions to those plans based on the data that we're seeing. I would note on that particular one, our focus has been much on the identified transition needs and how those are being met in the elementary building. The next step naturally is to go back up to the middle school, pull data at what those transition problems and supports are that are needed, to then go back to make sure that we're meeting those objectives at the elementary level rather than keeping that focus only on each individual building.
The next one is the 6 through 8 options. And the first one is to execute educational programming and staffing for the TCU Innovation Lab at John Young for the 2018-2019 school year. That was achieved, and the Innovation Lab is operating as in its first year and operating, I think, very well. The other piece of all this was item number 4. If in the future the board and the leadership of the school system decide that they are interested in either a middle school or some other school, that we needed to look at land. To give you an update, the senior leadership has been researching 2 parcels of land between 50 and 75 acres in the strategic geographical area that we identified for a potential new middle school. Discussions will continue with the owners of these 2 parcels. So we continue to have dialogue about the availability and the desirability of these 2 parcels. Going down to recommendation number 3, the recommendation should be coupled with a future decision on a second middle school in the next 3 years, 2018 through 2020. The goal should be to totally upgrade all yellow buses. We purchased 3 new yellow buses in the summer of 2018 with funds from the $5 million revenue bonds, and the goal appears to be very achievable, that by 2020 we will have replaced all 7 of the yellow buses.
The final grade level study group recommendations came from the grade level studies of 9 through 13, and there were 3 recommendations with 3 distinct areas of focus. The first one, much like the transitions from elementary to middle school, was an intentional focus on the transitions from middle school to high school to best prepare our students for a successful transition. That particular objective is in progress. Our work last year in preparation for the 1920 year allowed us to put a system in place with intentional staffing and administrative support, where we have a dedicated dean focusing on the 9th grade, working closely in collaboration with a dedicated counselor and our transition coordinator. And in addition to that, other structures that have been put in place are to have smaller learning communities where intentional staff members are dedicated to a smaller group of students where they share a common population. They can discuss where they're finding successes and where students' needs aren't being met. So much of the system has been in place. The work that is still in progress and ongoing and will continue to be refined throughout the following years focus on programming and the intentional supports that those students need based on the identified areas of need for transition. The second recommendation then focused on, in preparation for state-mandated career pathways. Thanks to the hard work of John Ross, that objective has been achieved. He has done a thorough audit of our current course offerings, placed them in alignment with the career pathways. He's also worked hard with the staff to increase our course offerings to meet some holes that we had in our pathways. While that particular objective is achieved, it also should be noted that that is always an ongoing objective as we see new opportunities to offer experiences and courses that will best prepare our students in any of those pathways. We continue to do that work. So thank you to John Ross for that. And then finally, the grade 13 recommendation to best prepare our students for post-graduation. That particular objective was postponed. Many of you in the community may be aware and hopefully are aware that St. Joe County and Elkhart County were the proud recipients for a very sizable Lilly grant that focused on the Regional Cities Project. Through that work, the Regional Cities Project works on an effort to transform our region to be an economic leader in next generation manufacturing, entrepreneurship, and applied analytics and technology. Through this work, naturally, we are looking forward to collaborating in that process as it'll bring together workforce development, schools, and community partners to provide these experiences that will then position our students post-graduation to have broad opportunities for training, work-based learning, and careers in tomorrow's jobs. Thank you.
Well, it strikes me that we're moving along well on our objectives, and look forward to continuing to do so.
Now, we're postponing the 13th grade right now. Is that?
Yes.
Yes.
That's going to be part of the, well, we had so many other initiatives going on that that was the one that we put off because it wasn't high priority right then. But right now, with the $42 million Lilly grant, with the regional cities, it really provides many opportunities with businesses and education and higher education and various other partners to build partnerships that wouldn't have been possible before.
Excellent, excellent.
Moving on, item 8.02, progress report on the implementation of the School City of Mishawaka Fine Arts Strategic Plan. Mrs.
Thank you, President Curry and School Board. Recently, Dr. Spiker asked me to do some research on the updates that we have had here at the ground level at the elementary schools, middle school, and the high school with the SCM Fine Arts Strategic Plan that was board approved on June 12th of 2018. So I reached out to many of the music directors and some of the teachers just to kind of get some feedback from them as far as what they've seen, you know, in the trenches, if you will. So I'm going to go over a few of the SMART goals from the plan and give you a few of the updates. And try not to cough a lot, so I'm sorry about that. First of all, band and orchestra, the SMART goal number 1 from the Fine Arts Strategic Plan was program fidelity and rigor, to specifically offer beginner and advanced programs at all levels through all programs. And the update for this SMART goal is that the high school has created 2 orchestra classes established by ability level. So they're well on their way to doing that. They want to then move that into all the other programs, whether it be choral, band, what have you. SMART goal number 2 was updated facilities and instrument maintenance, which would include facility enhancements that were necessary for improvements on how instruments were maintained and replaced through time. Some of the updates regarding this SMART goal was that John Young and the high school orchestra rooms both received humidity control units. These protect the wood instruments that they store in there from cracking and warping. The high school practice rooms have been clean and organized. This lends itself to using those rooms strictly for practice before they, I think, were multi-use. And each practice room now has 3 digital pianos. In 2018, the Board of School Trustees approved the purchase of new band instruments. That is up closer to $200,000 worth of instruments at this point. And they are being used at John Young and the high school. And I'm being told that the purchase of orchestra instruments is in process at this point. SMART Goal 3 for band and orchestra was with staffing. With growth, additional staff would be likely necessary in the form of teachers and private lessons. The update on this is that all of the elementary music classes are now taught by certified music teachers. Prior to this, there were some subs that were used to basically teach the music classes. So now they're all certified music teachers.
And next year, the band hopes to utilize the revenue from the video scoreboard to start supplementing private and small group lessons. Speaking of the elementary music classrooms, they also received K through 6 music curriculum last year. And this picture that you see there is one of the elementary classes using rhythm cards as part of their curriculum to create their own rhythm throughout their classes. We move on to choir. SMART goal number 3 was also with staffing, meeting all of the program staffing needs. And as you saw earlier with Mr. Brown here, he's the new choral director. He continues to improve the program and inspire students to engage. Also, private voice lessons have been implemented. Ms. Hartley, she teaches at the high school 1 day a week. SMART goal number 4 is to provide equipment and technology necessary for each program to succeed and grow. And this would address and supply recurring equipment needs. The update is that we were able to purchase 12 digital pianos, also retiring a lot of the old rundown pianos that we were using. And a new set of choir risers was purchased for the high school, and then the ones that were here were handed down to John Young to give them a full set. They were kind of piecemealing them together when they'd have to go places, so now they have their own set. And also the choir room here at the high school was outfitted with new sound system, recording devices, as well as a new projector and screen. Moving on to visual arts, the SMART goal number 1 that we'll touch on is to continue to update visual arts curriculum and provide relevant learning experiences. The high school has increased the equity and access to creative arts by removing cost-prohibited barriers and rolling all costs into the current book fees for the traditional darkroom photography classes. So basically kind of removing that barrier where they'd have to provide themselves with the papers and all that kind of stuff to use their photography classes. That's all actually provided for them now through our book fees. SMART goal number 3, ensure that all students are given the experience of taking an art class in both 7th and 8th grade. The update on this is that all 8th graders at John Young are currently in an art class for 12 weeks. This is an improvement. Prior to this year, art was an elective only, and now all 8th grade students are immersed in an art program. The addition of another full-time art teacher would allow 7th grade students to have this opportunity as well. And finally, dance, drama, and the Performing Arts Center. You see a picture here of the before and after of the stage floor. That's obviously helpful for anyone that's on the stage, whether they be music performers, dancers, theater. And then with the addition of the coordinator of fine arts position that we talked about tonight, the areas of dance and drama will benefit greatly. Many of these proposed SMART goals for these areas are slated for the 2021 school year. Thank you.
Projects for the superintendent and for the Ed Center. And this is just one example of projects that she has taken on and done. And Jessica, thank you very much. You did an excellent job. And I'm grateful to you for doing these kinds of things. And I'm sure Mr. Barker will also be grateful.
We'll move on now to the final item on the agenda, item 11.01, public announcements. The next regular meeting of the Board of School Trustees will be held on Wednesday, May 22nd, 2019 at 7 o'clock p.m. at the Administrative Center, 1402 South Main Street, Mishawaka, Indiana. Mishawaka PTA Council and the Board of School Trustees will host a retirement reception at 6:15 p.m. on Wednesday, May 22nd, 2019 to honor the 2018-2019 School City of Mishawaka retirees. The retirement reception will be held at the Administrative Center before the regular meeting of the Board of School Trustees. The public is invited. The third annual Celebration of Excellence to honor all School City of Mishawaka employees will take place on Tuesday, May 28th, 2019 at 5 p.m. at the Holiday Inn Conference Center on East Douglas Road in Mishawaka, Indiana. Is there a call for adjournment?
Adjourn.
We are adjourned.